Hello, guys. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Hold on. I can't hear you. Stop. All right. Talk again. See if I can hear you.
Sir, I'm hearing you clearly.
Lovely. I'm also hearing
Okay.
you. All right. So I see that my class has dwindled down to 5 people. What's happening today? You guys had crit on Friday, right?
So, sir, hear the funny story. They told us that we don't actually have it. We didn't actually have it on Friday. So we have it tomorrow.
Oh wow. Wow.
Yeah. Always exciting stuff.
But no worries, because everybody was prepared for Friday, right?
No. Sir, we never prepare for Friday. I God call that one, sir, I swear, because we never ready at all.
Okay. All right. Okay. So I may not see many people today. Let's see what's on the. Let me check my schedule. Let me see how far we are in the module, so I can plan accordingly based on what is happening. Okay. All right. Okay, so today is the 11th. So we are here, and 11th we're supposed to do interior renderings. We kind of pushed and did interior renderings on Friday, on Saturday. Kind of went overboard half an hour. That video it's not uploaded yet. It's converted, but it's uploaded. So I'll upload that now. So today we have interior renderings, and then next class. Wait a minute. Wow. Okay. So we have only one more class to go. No, 2 more classes after this class. And then I think classes end on the 29th. Do you guys have any documentation that says classes end on the 29th for you? Anybody?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you know when classes officially end?
Sir, the 29th.
Oh, okay. I mean, okay. All right, no problem. Because what happens is that sometimes that changes.
But it changed already, sir. It was earlier and it changed.
Right. Mm-hmm. Okay, good. All right, so
final crit might change as well.
Right. But I think we are in a good spot because we have only one more checkpoint to go, which is animation, which is like really simple. That's like 10 minutes of explanation, right? Which is why I'm focusing on rendering as it relates to your studio-based assignment, which is what is happening now. So there is a topic that I wanted to cover today. I'm debating whether or not I should do it or leave it for next week, but time is it's 8:14. because for next week's class, we're supposed to start animation and we're supposed to move ahead from interior rendering. So that other activity that we have is a class activity. So here is what we will do for today's class. We're going to go back into Twinmotion. However, what I will do next week's class today, which is animation. I'll do the animation today because the animation is really short. And then I will put that class activity for next week. So that way we don't fall behind. But I think we're actually in a good spot because we will actually finish everything that you guys need to learn by next week, which means we're finishing one class ahead of the end of classes. So yeah, I think we did pretty good this semester, guys, to keep on track. Well, of course, you guys need to like submit the work because I think I only marked like probably 15 or 10 people in the checkpoint 3. And remember, checkpoint 4 is due Saturday coming. If you look here, so checkpoint 4 is due.
So checkpoint 4 due Saturday?
Right, remember
already. I thought it would be like, because it's way more simple.
I know. But the reason why we give such a long, we give like basically what, almost 3 weeks for checkpoint 3 is because of the rendering part. Because some people have never rendered in their life in an application. Some people are learning Twinmotion and these programs for the first time. So for some people, it might take a little longer. Whereas others, they're used to it and they did it in like a couple minutes. Also, for checkpoint 4, oh, okay. I see you, Dania. And of course, some people have technical problems with installing the software. So it's like, yeah. But while the time is going for checkpoint 4, we're learning Twinmotion, how to do exterior renderings, and we're also learning how to do interior renderings. So all of that was happening during the checkpoint 4 time. And now the checkpoint 4 is going to be due Saturday. Checkpoint 5 is going to be due November 25th, but trust me, guys, you guys can finish that in like half an hour. All right, so what we're going to be doing today is we're going to continue. We are going to continue we're going to be continuing with our studio based. Okay, let's I still have a little bit of cough left. All right, so let's take back a look on our studio based assignment just to make sure that everybody is at the same track. Because remember, this and checkpoint 4 and 5 kind of overlap, right? Though this is not due yet, but we should be working on this because remember that you're also going to use this for your final crit. For your final crit, it would be great if you had a 3D floor plan, if you had interior renderings, you know what I mean? So my hope is that you guys are working on this so that you can stick this on your sheet and it will make your presentation even better, right? Now, we did this last week. We learned how to do photorealistic renderings, how to set up the lighting and all of that in Twinmotion. It's a similar approach in different software. The buttons are just different. Today, we'll be learning how do we set up the 3D floor plan, right? And that will also be in Twinmotion. And of course, the 2D floor plan, you guys know how to do that already. So, I don't need to show that. So the two things we're going to be doing today is 3D floor plan and animation in Twinmotion, because you guys have to do the animation. You just need to do a simple 360 animation. It's so simple. Oh my goodness. You wouldn't believe. All right. So this is what I love. When it comes near to the end of the semester, you're getting simple stuff, because we already deal with the hard stuff in the middle of the semester. So instead of ramping up the difficulty and the stress at the end of the semester for computing, we're actually ramping down and you're doing the simpler part of the work. So that's kind of my mission to make CSA more doable and not so inhumane as it relates to the schedule. I have been through it too, so I understand. All right. Okay, so let us jump into Twinmotion. Yes. Nicole, if you need to get the Twinmotion software, right? I think there is a video that I showed how to get it, but in any case, all you need to do is just literally type the word Twinmotion.
So my space.
Oh, you don't have the space.
Yeah, for the Twinmotion. That's my issue.
Well, just delete a little bit of those Game of Thrones episodes and some of those movies. Just delete some of...
so much. But I don't know. It's not coming on, so but I will keep.
Oh, meaning what? So it's keep telling you that you don't have enough space to install? That's what it's... Oh, man. And you delete stuff. Well, you can install it to an external drive, but of course you'd have to have the external drive plugged in every time you want software.
The thing is, sir, I have it on the Mac desktop, but I cannot get rid of it on the Mac desktop. So
right. 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 Unless you
use... I sent an email to Miss Baker this morning asking her for the so I will see that.
Okay, and please, if you can, if you are able to physically go there, please go there, because
yes, sir.
Sometimes that works better than email. You know, we stay already, you know. Okay, all right. So we are in Twinmotion. We're just going to open back that file that we used last time, which is let's see. I gotta go find it. I think I had it under. By the way, guys, if you're using Windows and you're working on something and it's in some deep folders, you can always just right click and choose oops. You can always just you can always just right click the folder and choose pin to quick access, and then it comes over here. You probably know this already, some of you. So I did pin demonstration here because it's like in a million folders. So yeah. All right, so this is where we were. So let's open this file. Okay, so Twinmotion, I think like Lumion, every time you download an asset, it will embed it in the Twinmotion file and the file will grow bigger. So Twinmotion files tend to be very big, so heads up for that, guys. All right, so this is what we did last time. We dealt with the lighting and we added materials, you know. I mean, there's so much little tweaks that I would do. Remember, we said, hold on, didn't we add decorations here? I did remember we added decorations. Didn't we, guys? Did we turn it off? No? Maybe this isn't the latest file. Let's see. Well, it says this is the latest file. Oh, Lord. I don't know what happened. Anyway, the decorations don't matter. Maybe I didn't save that last file. Now, remember, we don't need to worry about the rest of the space. Whatever your apartment building looks like, all we need to worry about is the kitchen area. That is the place that you're going to be rendering out these images. You're supposed to render two images, two views. You can choose where you want to have the views. They must be at human height, you know, so let your creativity guide you as to how, depending on the shape of your kitchen and all of that. Don't forget about decorations, guys. All right. And yeah, another interesting trick, if you guys want to go through that trouble, if you really wanted to get different cabinet doors, you can get it from the you could have changed it out. You could have imported it from let's use where is it? All right. You could have imported it from 3D Warehouse. There are so much cabinet covers, you know, just in case you wanted to like be more stylistic. Go to models, like cabinet doors, and there's so much different style, guys. And then some files have like a whole bunch of cabinet doors. So I do this sometimes where I would look for cabinet doors and then import them. You can import the door by itself and then duplicate it, or you could have just done it in the SketchUp file. Additionally, there are cabinet doors in Twinmotion. I'm not sure about Lumion. I think if you go kitchen, storage, where appliance maybe, I don't know. I'm going to have to you're gonna have to search for that. I don't use it a lot from Twinmotion, but there are cabinet doors, I'm sure. All right, so anyway, today we're going to focus on the 3D floor plan. So to get a 3D floor plan, the way you go about it is a little different from interior floor plans, right? So what I'm going to do is, well, firstly, you know that we are not going to have a roof. So I'm going to delete the roof. I'm going to delete all of the roof stuff. We don't need the lights at the windows. So this that we did for the interior scene, we don't need to have that. So I'm going to delete that. And I'm going to delete this little light that is in the middle here that I put there. All right. All right. Now, I'm going to show you another trick for 3D floor plans. In just a minute. Let's save as, and I'm going to save this one as 3D floor plan. All right. Now, yes, you can just carry your camera to the top and hit render. But there are some little tricks that you can use. And there are also some, I like to call it advanced tricks. I don't know if anybody here is into rendering a whole lot. So I don't know if we want to go into the advanced tricks. So let's start with the basic tricks first, or the basic things to consider when you're doing a 3D floor plan. Usually, one of the challenges with a 3D floor plan is that the walls get in the way, usually. And to solve this, what I would suggest is from Revit, what I'm going to do here in Revit is I'm going to open back the my plan. All right, guys. So I want you to remember this tip. Usually your walls is a bit high for 3D floor plans. So what you can actually do is cut down the walls by using the section box. There you go. And let's make this section box a little smaller. Actually, okay, wait. Actually, what I would suggest to do first is to duplicate this. So I'm going to duplicate this view, and then I'm going to call this 3D floor plan. Right, because I don't want to mess with the other view. All right, turn on my section box. And the reason why I'm putting my section box here is because I want to try and cut down the height of these walls. Now, of course, the section box can cut down everything, right? So I don't know. I don't think I want to cut the counters. So I want to just maybe trim it down to there. So that's one way that you can do it. And then the walls are not so high as before, right? Now, another thing that you can do, okay, let me disable the section box. Yeah, that's the problem. Once you disable the section box, you have to adjust it again. Now, another thing that that you can do is you can actually manually reduce the height of some of these walls, which is, trust me, it will really make a difference if you're trying to do a 3D floor plan. So let me show you what I mean. I'm going to use my alignment tool. And notice when you do this, you see the doors stick above, which is I think a really interesting effect. I don't know if this is something that you want to do, but I'm just sharing some tips on how you can do a 3D floor plan. Maybe for the external walls, you can leave them being high, but like for some of the interior walls, you can carry them down a bit. Maybe this is too low. So maybe there you go. Now this is a relatively small apartment building, so actually I kind of like the fact that the doors cut down halfway. Oops. I don't know, I kind of like that effect. Because you can just see more into the space. All right. So Rochelle, you see what I'm doing here? Are you here, Rochelle? No? What about Thompson? Is Thompson here? No? Daniel?
I'm here, sir.
Ah, you are here. Okay, that's good. All right, so you see what I'm doing? I'm cutting down the height of some of the interior walls so that I can see down into the space a little more, right? So you guys, I mean, everybody has different designs, so your interior walls will be different. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to export the datasmith file. And I think, yeah, I'm going to just replace the one that is there. So I think it's this one. Yeah. All right. Then I'm going to go over to Twinmotion. And then I'm going to, there's some space. Then I'm going to update floor plan. And voila. So now I'm having a better view of the space. All right, now, so that is just a tip of how you can deal with being able to see the different spaces. You can cut down the height of some of the walls or use a section tool. In my case, I chose to cut down the interior walls and leave the exterior walls regular height. Maybe I should cut down the exterior walls as well. Anyway, now the main part of doing a 3D floor plan, some people call it a maquette rendering. And the reason for this is that it almost looks like you have a model, like a miniature model. Like if you look back on the presentations here, should be up here. All right, here we go. Here we go. Right, so if we look back at some of the presentations here, this almost looks like a little mini 3D model, right? So it looks like this because of the shadows, the lighting, and the camera angle. All right, so let's head back over to Twinmotion. So we need to get that shadow and that lighting. So the first thing we're going to do, so we need to set up a view. So we're going to hit the plus button so we can set up another view. Let's bring up our view settings here. So we're going to go to properties so we can see our settings over here. All right, so for our camera, we want to use a very high focal length. So let's make the focal length about 100, no, maybe 150. And then we're going to zoom out. And what you notice is that now your model kind of looks like it's axonometric, right? So don't forget to save. So we need to update this view so it's saved. So that is one of the first things we need to do. Next, we are going to be using the path tracer, right? Now, if you don't have the path tracer, you can still use the standard, but the path tracer is really what's going to make it look nice. So let's turn on path tracer. Now, we're not done yet because this doesn't look like a maquette rendering. So we need to tweak the lighting. So we're going to go into environments. And first, let's go to our light settings and we're going to turn off the sun. Let's go to camera. Exposure is at 1. That's fine. Now let's go down to lighting, HDR lighting. And we're going to enable HDR lighting. And by default, it's going to enable the sky dome, but we're going to use a backdrop HDRI. All right, I think we did this the last class. All right, so this is our HDR. So we're going to choose backdrop. Right. And when we enable HDR, what happens is that it re-enabled the sun. Right, so we're still going to disable that. All right, so let me turn off this for a bit. If you can look, we get a background HDRI. And if I zoom all the way out, that is what the HDRI is. It's like a little bubble that has an environment. And when you're in the environment, it looks like you're in the environment. But you can actually go into God mode meaning, and you can look at your little environment. All right, so what we want to do with this HDRI is we want to adjust the height. So we're pushing it down in the ground because we don't need the grass, definitely. Then it should be roughly in the center of your scene. This is not centered, but it's fine. Now we need to change the HDRI. So we're going to click here and go to library. And we're not going to choose outdoor. We're actually going to choose studio. And this is what will give us that maquette rendering, that rendering like it's a model on top of a table. Now, studio rendering is kind of like, I don't know, Alex, if you've ever been to a photo studio to take like your passport picture or a family portrait. You hear, Alex? Alex not here? No? What about Mia? Are you here, Mia?
Sir.
Yes, Rochelle.
Yeah, sir. Like when you have like that kind of direct lighting that shows all the surfaces. But then like in a studio setting too, you can sometimes have just generally lighting more controlled rather than
Right. So you see these umbrellas usually and these
yes, sir.
flashes. And the idea is that when it flashes, the umbrella diffuses the light. So it's soft and not harsh. Like when you go out in the sun and take a picture in the sun and you have to squint your eyes and your forehead is all shine. And yeah, that is harsh light. So in a studio, they have these soft things that soften the light. So when you go to the studio setup, the studio and HDRI, it is kind of mimicking that environment. And these are all they look a little weird. Like if you look, it looks very weird. But like, for example, this one or this one, you know, this is saying that light is coming from two sides and the top. You know what I mean? This is saying that light is coming from a hot spot there. So we're going to let's choose this one. We might have to download it. So let me sign in and download. So instead of having these trees in the background, you're going to end up with this background. Okay, so let's go back to, I need to go back to, right. And I need to drag this over here. Give it a little while. So now it's almost like you have a little model and you took that model to a photo studio and you're taking a picture of it. So this is what that environment looks like. But we don't really care about the environment because we're not going to be seeing the environment. Instead, we're going to be seeing the model. So let's try and get back. Let's try and get a good view now. So, all right. And you already noticed that the lighting is more soft. I think I want to change the resolution of this because to a bit more of a square. So I'm going to put it at 2000 by 1800. There we go. So notice I changed my resolution because this now sits nicely in the scene. All right, so I'm gonna update this. Now the other thing I want to do is I don't want the tiled background. I want the background to just be white, you know, like those fashion models that you see on TV and you see them in a white background. So what I want to do is go to materials and I can just make a new material, which is usually white, and just drag that there. So now my background is white. Now for maquette rendering, you want to zoom out a little bit so you can give the environment some space because you want to have some soft shadows on the outside. So you need space for that. So I'll take out the view like that. Oh crap, I forgot to save. Let me take it out. Then I hit update. All right, let's give ourselves some more space so you can see it. This material is a little weird. Yeah, let me come out of this view. I need to, let's just give it that material just for the sake of moving forward. Yeah, I'll just give it that wood material. Okay, let's go back to the view. All right, there we go. So let me turn on path tracing. Let's make this a little bigger. So there we go. Now, now the next thing we want to do, so this is giving us some nice balanced lighting and everything is all soft and nice. And the last thing we want to do now, let's go back to environment. Remember we did disable our sun. We want to uncheck this match sun to HDRI because we don't want this image to control the sun. Then we can go to our sun intensity. Let's put it at like 200, 100. All right. Let's go to camera, turn off auto exposure because that is what's making it so bright. All right, so we want to balance the sun because now it doesn't look like a model rendering. So put this at 50, 0. Okay, that's his problem. All right, so let me turn off the sun. Let me go back to the HDRI and let me increase the intensity. There we go. So let me put this to maybe like 20. I always try to use some actual values here so that you can remember it. Now let me go to sun and put this to, I don't know, 50. Right, so you see that the sun is very soft, which is very light, which is what you want. Maybe 60. All right. Now I want to change the direction of the sun. So I can use this to do that. So I want to do something like that. Maybe. Or usually for maquette rendering, you want the shadow to land in front, never behind. You never want the shadow to look like that because it would look kind of weird. So, let's see. Yeah. Maybe like here. All right. Next thing you want to do is to change the length of the shadows by changing the time of day. So maybe like this. There you go. And the truly magical thing that you want to do now is you want to change the sun size. The bigger the size, the softer the shadow. So I'm going to max this out. And then you notice you're getting some nice soft shadows here. Now, what I have to do, like this is a little bit white, so I need to balance some of this light. So I need to turn down my, this is the HDRI, maybe to 15, maybe to 5. So you see I'm getting back the shadows now, but the scene look a little darker. So then I can go to camera and turn up the exposure, maybe 4. Right. All right. Now, I think some of these, I needed to fix some of these materials because, some of these windows are white and some are different colors. Don't forget to update so you don't lose all of these settings that we just did. All right. So now I think, this is where your creativity comes along. You can do some other things. For example, you could make all the walls white except your furniture, and you would get a nice effect with that because then you would see your furniture pop. You can also do different angles. So what I'll do is I can just duplicate this. And then for this one, I can try a different angle. I think that's actually the best angle because you're seeing the kitchen. Maybe this one I could try. Maybe that one. Now, usually with these type of rendering, right, let's turn on path trace. Right. Usually with these types of rendering, as I said, you want to give yourself some space on the outside. Make this bigger so you can see it. There we go. This is floating a little bit. So there we go. Yeah. Right. Good. I think that is better. And then maybe the last thing I can do is I can use my exposure. So maybe put this to 5. That can be a little brighter. I think 5 is good. Gonna update this view. Let me go back to this one. Put this to 5. Yeah. All right, and that's it. You have your 3D floor plan. Any questions, guys?
No, sir.
All right. Now, of course, there are many other things that we can do to change this up, but so now, to save out your views, you would click on, you would go, so I want to save out image 2, and so I'm going to call this, let me rename this. I'll call this 3D FP for floor plan 1, and I will rename this to 3D floor plan 2. Then I go over to export. And in export, here, I'm going to go to image, click the plus, and I'm going to select, say I want to render this and that. And then I just choose export. And I'll also save it to the demonstration folder. Make a folder, I'll call it renderings. And I'll save it there. And it shouldn't take that long to save. All right, there we go. And now, if I go to that folder, there's that folder here, I go to renderings, and there we go. All right, guys, what do you think? Can pass?
Yeah, man, sir, it can go on, man.
All right, so what you do now is when you're putting this on your studio sheet, you want this background to be white. So, you know, you go in Photoshop and you just kind of fade so that it looks like this is a part of your sheet. Because remember, you're not going to get transparency with this. You could get transparency, but you want to keep these nice soft shadows here. So you would drag this into Photoshop and just use your eraser brush and just kind of fade this. But you want this to be white so that it blends into your sheet. All right. And this is a great way that you can show, for example, your unit. So maybe you can have a 3D view and then you have a floor plan view. You know what I mean? Can really enhance your presentation. All right. So you are now fully equipped to do your studio-based assignment. You know how to do. You see these cutaway models that you're seeing here. This is what I was showing you. So from in Revit, you could actually carry down some of your walls so that you can have this nice cutaway where you can actually see into the unit, which is really cool, right? And now you guys know how to do that by just adjusting the walls and using your 3D section tool. All right, so the key to make your renderings look nice is going to be decorations. And your decorations, some of us can just pop up decorations in our minds, but others are usually the best use case is to use your mood board, right? And where is that? Here. Right. If you remember in the last class when we were decorating, we did have a mood board that we created. So we had an idea of colors that we wanted to use. We had different ideas, different types of decorations. So the mood board is what helps you to select the appropriate decorations. All right, so this is a lot to do with, because you're kind of gone into interior design. When you're showing such detail, you kind of go into interior design. So now you're considering things like color, decorations that go well together. You know, the more detail you show is the more considerations that you have to give, right? Things like what time of day will best show your design, right? Remember last class we had the sun, and we had the sun coming into the window, or maybe it's a night shot. Usually soft lighting works a lot, and because it's indoors, the lighting should be soft. If you use some of those tricks that I showed you last time, by putting the light at the window, by angling the sun so that the sunlight comes through the window and bounce light all around on the interior, you can really get your interior to look nice. Now, with materials, we did add materials from Twinmotion. You can import your own materials into Twinmotion. We didn't really go into that. But what I'll do, I will kind of leave that for if somebody wants to go that advanced. But for now, and for the sake of time, I would say that your materials, try to just use the materials that are in Twinmotion. I don't know if you remember, but okay, I should open another scene. Each of the materials you use, so for example, oh, right. For example, if I should look at this material, if it's not quite the color that you want, you can always adjust the tint and the colors will change, right? So you don't need to like import other materials. You can also change things like the saturation of the material. You can change the gamma, the brightness, you know, all of these things. So with materials, try and just use those tweaks to edit the materials to get the tone that you want. All right. Also consider, if you notice for this kitchen, we have lights that are here. Remember the kitchen, the light that we put in the middle of our kitchen, we had put a light in that little groove. Let me open that scene for you. There we go. What's this one? Right. So what you want to do is wherever you have a light fixture, you want to try and put a light in that area. All right, so that it would look realistic and the mood that you're going for will look realistic. First, so for example, if you put a light here, then it would be shining down on the table, which is what you would want. All right. Now, don't forget that this is still a 3D generated space. So this is why we still had to, in our 3D scene, we still had to put the light at the window to boost that daylight that's coming in from the window. All right. These lights that you see up here, you can just use that same light material that we use. If you remember, when we had our kitchen space, this is the space that we had. Let's go to the view. Right. We had put a plane in here that has a material that appeared to be light. So if it was some round holes, you would add that material to the spotlight that is on the roof, like what you're seeing here, right? In order to give it that realistic look. Now, for these lights here are called task lights, meaning that they're lights to help illuminate whatever you're doing in the kitchen. So this is why I'm saying, if this is something that you want to highlight in your view, you have to put an actual light in those positions. And those lights, for those types of lights, you want to use like one of these spotlights. So for example, if I drag the spotlight here, let's turn on back, you can kind of see that spotlight coming down. However, there's no light fixture here, which is why this doesn't look realistic, right? So for example, just for the sake of an example, oh no, not this one. Let's use this. Right. And I'm going to give it that same material, that neon material. Right. All right. So, Garden, can you see the difference here? Where if I put an object that's actually illuminated and then you see the light, it's more believable.
Oh, yes, sir, yes, sir. I see.
Right. So don't just put these task lights and not have actual light fixtures to represent these task lights. All right. These are some other images for inspiration. There are so much inspiration images you can get from Pinterest, from the internet. Like, you know, before, and this is, remember, we went into in our case, we went into SketchUp to add a lot of these little details. If you want, you could try to add it in Revit, but as I said, usually it's going to kind of hinder your creative flow if you have to keep pausing to remember, okay, you know, how do I create this box? Do I need to go to edit in place? And you know, there's just a lot of things, work planes and levels and all these things to think of. So remember our workflow that we use, we went into a modeling package. In our case, we use SketchUp, which is what I recommend because you guys learn SketchUp from first year. And that's what we use to get a lot of these decorations in. All right. So, right. We did choose our colors from earlier. And remember how I showed you a tip where you can, if you want to get the exact color and get this in Twinmotion, you can copy this into Illustrator and then pipette the color in Illustrator and get the hex code. And then you put the hex code into your Twinmotion, right? Now, I'm not going to show you again because I already showed you, but in here, this is what I call a hex code. And you can get this hex code by just carrying a screen clip into Photoshop or Illustrator, and it will tell you what the hex code is, and you just copy it into Twinmotion, and you'll get the color that you want there. All right. Pretty cool stuff, guys. Pretty cool stuff. All right. So, you know, this is looking at some other color schemes, the color of your cabinet doors. You know, try, like, you would definitely choose your color scheme first before you just try and just add random colors. Because that is a mistake that some of us make. Like, we have this model and then we just try and color it. No, you need to get your mood board so that you have inspiration images and you can, like, follow what's in the inspiration image to a point. All right. So, of course, we spoke about decorations. Most of the fine decorations, I would say to get it from Twinmotion. Twinmotion has a lot of little tiny decorations. A lot of them you will find in objects, home, and kitchen and office. A good tip is that the thing about office is office prearranges these for you, which is good, but they arrange it, you know, this is an office setting. But like when you go to like living room, and then you can go to lamps. No, well, lamps are decoration, but little things like here we have food and accessories. This is where we can, you know, we can have all of these little details, little things that you can put on the counter, planters, plates, just things to bring the place alive. Okay, so this is the high quality 3D models, and SketchUp doesn't really give super high quality 3D models, but I don't know. I think it's good enough for what we're using. If you look on, I didn't get to render out this image, so let's render out this image so we can look at it. So I'm going to go to export. I'm going to go to image. Hold on, let's do another view. And for this view, I'm going to do a I'm going to do a wide angle for this view. So I'm going to go with 200 by 500, maybe 3000. Oops. 3000. Right, so it's wider. Let me turn off path tracing so I can move around. All right. Turn on these chairs. That's cool. Let's turn off these chairs. Yeah, like this. All right, this is the view I want. Yeah, something like that. Let's come over a little bit more. Yeah, that view is looking nice. Let's update this. All right, so let's render out these two views. So let's see what I was talking about. So I go to image, select these two views, and go to export. And I'll export it to the same folder, demonstration and renderings. There we go. The bigger the resolution, the more time this takes to render. All right. All right, so this is the folder that we have our views in. All right. All right, so this is one of the views, guys. And I wanted to render this out to talk about quality of the model. Now, these cabinets are coming from Revit. Let's look at this other one. These chairs are coming from SketchUp. So if you notice, if you zoom in, they look kind of very angular. Can you guys see that? Everything looks kind of sharp. Oh, this is right. And this is what we're talking about with quality of models. So, for example, I'm going to leave it. I'm going to, let's go back into Twinmotion here. And let's look at a model. I'm going to grab one from my archive, if I can find it. There we go. Now, the thing about quality models is that they don't really come for, you don't really get them free. So for example, if you wanted to get really high quality models, higher than SketchUp, and you go to like, Turbo Squid is, no, let's go cheaper. 3D Sky. Some of these models, I do believe they give away some free. Yeah, like these are free. Let's try dining. And if you look at these models, now these models are like very nice. And they're not that expensive. Like this costs about $7. And they show you the details on it. So for example, This is the modeling detail. So these models are of a way higher quality than what you get at SketchUp, in SketchUp and these places. Some of these places will offer free models, like I don't think this one has any free. Let's see what is on the free. Okay, they have a couch. They have, unfortunately, they don't have any dining stuff that is free. Okay. Search models. Let me search free. Let me see if I can find any chairs. Not quite. I wanted a dining chair, so let me chair. No, these are not free. If I go to free, okay. I'm trying to find one that's similar to what we had before. Maybe this. This doesn't look bad. Oh wow, these are all free, not bad. They have a lot of stuff free. Okay, let's try this one. All right, so we can click on that, and then we can click free download. Oh, I need to sign in. Hold on. All right, let's see. Oh man, I don't. Oh yes, I did remember it. Okay, good. All right, so I'm going to hit free download, and this is telling me that this model is with Max 2017, and it's rendered with Corona. That is the renderer that was used to produce this. So the thing about high quality models, you're not going to find it for SketchUp, right, guys? You're not going to find it for SketchUp. So usually you find this for Blender, Maya, Max, Cinema 4D. Anybody knows any of these software? Anybody here use Blender? Wasn't there a Blender person here? Anybody here use Blender?
Yes, sir.
Right. So if you want like high quality models, higher than what we got in SketchUp, you're going to have to use one of these. So for example, they give you a Max file and they give you an OBJ file. So OBJ is a type of 3D file. All right. Now here I have 3D Max open, right? And I'm going to just go to open, and I'm going to go to downloads. Downloads. Here we go. No. Oh, I probably have to extract it because they give you a zip file. So,
Sir,
yes, question?
isn't most of the benefits you get from 3D Max and Blender the fact that you get to subdivide and then smoothen?
Exactly.
That's what aid the quality.
Exactly. That's the thing. 3D Max and Blender has features that allow you to get like more lifelike, more smooth, more detailed models, right? So this is what the model looks like. Now it's black because I don't have Corona renderer here, but let me see. Go to full screen. Next, right. Let me go to clay. So if I zoom in here, you can look and you can see this crazy detail. Like, look, it even has the area for the stitching. If I look on the mesh, you can see that it has some really nice detail. And this is what you call a high quality model, right? Which, as I said, you have to get from these places. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ungroup this. And I'm going to just grab this one. And I'm going to go to Datasmith, export selected. Let's go over to demonstration. Demonstration, here we go. And I'll just call this HD chair. There we go. So now I'm going to head back over to Twinmotion. There we go. I'm going to go to import and let's import this model. HD chair. Here we go. I'm going to collapse it, I think. Okay, let me just leave it. I'm going to leave everything as default and just choose import. All right. Okay, where did it go? Let's see. Now, when you import anything, it will come to the bottom of your scene graph. So here we go, HD chair. And here it is over here. Let me carry it here. All right. Now, this is my HD chair. Now, what I'm going to do is, let's take this material. Put this here. Right. I'm gonna grab this material. I'm gonna drag it over here. This is much bigger. So, oh, hold on a minute. Can I put it to only one part? No, I gotta put it to two parts. All right, so what I need to do is I need to duplicate this material and then drag it to the chair and then change the size. So I'd go to UV and scale. There we go. There we go. Because I can't use this material here. If I change the size, this one would also change. All right, so now I'm gonna just, well, delete those chairs and I'm gonna use this high quality, oops. Oh, there are different elements. Hold on a minute. Let's put some brush metal for the feet. Then, let's see if we can find these chairs. Here they are. All right, so we have this one, that one, that one, that one. That's the other thing with SketchUp. It doesn't name it appropriately, so, and this one. There we go. We're going to delete those chairs, and then we're going to replace it with this guy here. Looks a little bigger. Is it on the ground? Yes, it is. Okay. So I'm going to hold Shift to copy. 90. Now, I could also carry an HD table in, but based on the time, I don't think I want to do that. It's going to take a little more time. But as I showed you, 3D Sky is a great place to get that. So now, if we go back to our view here, and what we're going to do is, let's render out this view again. So, okay, let's turn off path tracing because it's killing my computer. All right, and then I'm only going to render image 1 because the other image didn't show these chairs. I'm going to hit export and I'm going to export it to this folder. All right. Oh, I thought my computer crashed a while ago. All right, so let's go back to this folder here. Okay. All right, so So this was the view that we rendered just now, right? And these are the chairs that we rendered. And I'm waiting on that new view to come in. It's not here yet. It should be here by now. Oh yeah, here it is. Right. Wait a minute. Go back to Twinmotion. No, this one. I think okay. I changed something with the lighting. I'm not sure, so I'm just going to copy ambience and paste ambience. There we go. I must have changed something with the lighting and I didn't realize. It's a good thing I can copy the lighting from one image to another. So that's a good tip, guys. You can just choose copy ambience and it will copy all your lighting settings from one picture to the next picture. All right, so that's why that picture was looking a little dark. All right, that is how it should look. So I'm gonna have to export this again. All right, so I just did this little demonstration to show you guys the difference between a high quality model and a low quality model. It still looks. Hold on, did I copy this? Copy. Oh dear Lord. I see the problem. I see the problem. I didn't turn on path tracing. And I didn't save after I turned on path tracing. So it was not rendering with path tracing. That's the problem. Okay. So let me go back to export. And yeah, my bad. That is what was happening, guys. Remember that Twinmotion has multiple render engines. You have Lumen, you have path tracing, and you have standard. So whatever you choose, you have to save it so that you can before you render. All right, great. Now, there we go. Right, so we have these two images. There we go. And come on. Let's put this over here. And let's put this here. Let's carry this over a little bit. There we go. All right, guys. So, does anybody see the difference? What do you think, Nicole? Is it worth it to get high quality models to go through all of that trouble?
Yes, sir.
It's worth. Ryan, what do you think? Are you here, Ryan? No? Who else is here?
Yes, sir. Here.
What do you think?
So I think so. I think you could see the difference between the time.
Well, it does require more effort for you to get these high quality models. As I said, 3D Sky is a good place that you can get them from. As you can see, they have a lot of stuff in their free catalog. That was this chair, right? Of course, you may not find the exact thing that you want, so then you'd have to buy it. But definitely, SketchUp has way more. You can also get models from Twinmotion as well, which has it built in. But Twinmotion it's not as bad as SketchUp, but it's still not as good as getting a high quality 3D model. All right, so it's somewhere in between when you choose it from the program. All right, so experiment with other camera angles. Right, we kind of did this yesterday and today. So notice how these camera angles are nicely arranged. All the horizontals are straight. If you look at some of the views that we generated, notice the table is parallel with the camera. So then this makes for a nice composition, right? So when you're taking your shots, not that you can't take it at an angle, because we did actually take this shot at an angle, and it does look nice. Notice that these lines are straight, so it makes the composition nice. And the option to do that in Twinmotion is, let's turn off path tracer because it's here. In Twinmotion is in camera,
Parallelism.
lens, right, exactly, parallelism. Make sure you turn that on. All right, so these are some other images, and it's all about just experimenting with different views. Notice the background. In this case, if your design has one with some large open windows, then you might want to choose a HDR that is nice, that has like some images. So I chose this HDR here, which is on the environment. HDR here. But if I go to library, notice that there are categories. I have indoor, outdoor, studio, so I could choose outdoor, and then there are all of these outdoor views I could choose. So for example, some of them you have to download. So let's see, let me show you an example here. Maybe you want to be in the city. This is what, outdoor. So if you go indoor, then you're going to be seeing an inside of a space. So you don't want to use indoor, you want to use outdoor, definitely. But what happens is that when you change the HDR, it will change how your lighting is. So for example, let me sign in here. Download this. Remember, every time you download one of these and you add it, it's going to get added to your project, and it's going to let your project be bigger. So keep that in mind. Now you can add your own HDR. You can even make your own HDR. Granted, that's a little bit complicated, but if you really want, okay, so this HDR, it looks a little weird. Like if you look, you can see it in the background. So what you'll have to do in this case is you would have to change a couple settings. You can change the, well, no, I think in this case you have to change the projection, and you have to change the size. I think it's too big. Let me see what's happening. If I go outside, oh, right. So this is the HDR. So what happens is that this HDR doesn't fit because it's too close, meaning that, go back to my view here. Go back to this view. The original image of the HDR is too close to the elements in front. The type of view you want is a view that has far out distances, like this one, where you can see that the trees are far away, or this one, the trees are very close. This one is far away. So let me grab this one here. And that's the thing about HDRs. It has to fit with your view for it to work. Let's see. Right. This one is height offset, projection offset. Yeah, it's not too bad. Like you can kind of see in the background. You see the areas in the background. I can change the size, push it out more. Well, this is the maximum size. I can type in, I can make it 9. Yeah. So you see, you can kind of see like a city in the background. And if I turn on path tracing, I probably need to turn down, because this one here, I probably need to turn down the intensity so you can see outside a little better. There you go. Now, if I had a view where I was looking at the sink, like right here, and I was showing like a cup, then, you know, you can see the background there. Let me turn on this. You can kind of see. So this is where your HDR comes into play. Like you can really, it affects your lighting, but it also affects your background. All right. If you want to know how to carry in your own HDR image, I can show you how to do that, but that's going to be more of a specialized thing. Okay, guys. So I think that is it for here. These are just some other inspiration images. And there we have it. So remember, you want to draw out the layout of your kitchen. Make sure that you show your lighting fixtures. Remember, wherever you have light, the kitchen isn't just an empty spot. Most of these things you have to add in your modeling software. Consider your overhead cabinets and how it affects lighting placement. Because remember, you're designing the space. Consider the style and theme of the decor. Use your mood boards. Decide on a fixture and material and size. The type of appliances. Some of the appliances, you might use it from what you got from Revit. Remember, in Revit, we learned that we can get some nice models from like beamobject.com. How you're going to deal with storage. Remember, in our thing, we added a little custom shelf below the cupboards, and of course your finishes. All right, guys. So you are now fully equipped to finish. Remember, all of this that I'm telling you, it's not just for computing. This is something that should benefit you for Design Studio. When you're doing your interior renderings of your space, in this case, it's a kitchen, but next year it could be a library. The same rule applies, guys. The same lighting rules, everything. So I'm hoping that you can use this throughout for the rest of your for the rest of CSA. All right. So before you go, I want to take the last like 15 minutes to just show you how to create an animation. Right, that's actually for next class, but we're just going to do it in this class because it's so simple. Let's see, checkpoint 3. I'm trying to remember. Where do I have my checkpoint 3 model? I want to open up my model. Where did I put it? I thought. Yeah. Okay. Come on, computer. Okay. I believe I found it. I believe I found it. Ah, okay. Yes, I found it. Yes, guys. Sorry about that. I couldn't find my no, but this is from 2022. Oh Lord. Uh this is from last year. This is from 2 years ago. I guess I could just use that. Yeah, for some reason I cannot find my model. I don't know. I seem to have put it somewhere. Um, so anyway, this is from 2022, I believe. And this was the cabin then. Definitely the cabin now looks much nicer. The latest one looks nicer. I just remember there's actually something that I from just looking at this, there is something that I didn't show you with this last cabin, and that was how to paint the terrain, right? Oh right. So guys, this one here, we actually created the terrain um in Twinmotion. That's why the terrain has like these paths and all of that. But in our case, you have to create the terrain from Revit and then take it into Twinmotion. So this feature where you can actually paint on the terrain is only available if you create the terrain in Twinmotion. All right, guys, which is pretty cool. But of course, you lose all that work that you did to create the terrain from Revit. So anyway, I'm just going to show you how to do the animation using this scene. All right. Are you guys seeing the screen okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, what you're going to be graded on for animation is that you need to have objects that are moving, and you need to have a camera that does a 360 around the building, right? Now, in terms of objects that are moving, it's super simple. When you go to library, you just need to look for objects that are moving. So for example, I can go to character and I would go to animated characters, and I could just drag this person here and look, they're moving, and you can actually change. So for example, they can be sitting, lying, dancing, right? That's pretty cool, right? And I could drag another character here, and she could also be dancing as well, having a good time. In terms of environment, I mean, I don't want them to be just there dancing because of I would want to actually have, where is it? Home, living room, electronic equipment, and this is what, computer. Come on. Okay. Um, okay, well, here are some speakers. So yeah, they're having a good time with the speakers dancing. Now you can have any kind of moving objects. You can also have where you go. Oh, there's also swimming, so you could have people swimming as well. I do think that's an action. So if I click this person, special. Yes, they do swim. So let me leave you dancing, and I will get characters animated. Since we're at the beach, let's get this guy here. And then you can say special. So it's taking a photo, swimming. There you go. Swimming too. There you go. And you can have them there like that. There we go. Okay. As it relates to having animated objects, now we do animation again in fourth year, and that is when we start to talk about camera angles and camera views. For this assignment though, you only need to do a 360. So to do that, you need to go to media, and then you need to go here to animation. Not images. So before we were doing images, so this time we're doing animation. So we click the plus. Now here's the trick, guys. If I say I want to start my camera here, then I click the update. Then let's say I want to go here, and you want to do it. Think of it like a circle where you can do 45 degrees each time. So for example, if this is the front, 45 degrees is about here, then I click the plus. 90 degrees is about here, and try and keep the same distance from the model. Click the plus, 45 degrees again, and basically you just do this for the whole time. And every time you go 45 degrees here, click the plus, 45 degrees there, click the plus, and then you're back. Now, the next thing you want to do is adjust the time, because all of this will happen in 10 seconds, which is too fast. So I would put this at like 50 seconds. That's almost a minute. There you go. And that's it. That's all you have to do for your animation. You need to have animated objects, and you need to have the camera. You also need to have like a scenario. So notice how I put those two people dancing, but I put some speakers, right? If you put people fishing, you want to create a scenario. Don't just like, I don't want to see you just drop an object in the middle of like a guy dancing in the middle of the dirt, or like somebody talking to nobody. You have to create a scenario, right? It could be somebody on a boat, but your focus has to be on the building, and you're only required to do a 360 of the building. Now, once you do the 360 there, in order to render it, you're going to go to export. You're not going to go to image, so I'm going to disable all. In this case, you're going to go to video. I'm going to click the plus, click this video that I just created, and it's asking me, I want to do it as a MP4, 30 frames per second. I just want to leave everything default. These are all things that you can change. We're going to leave it default, and we're going to choose export video. And I'm going to just choose this folder. Oh, wait, I forgot something. Wait, cancel. What is my renderer actually? So, what you want to do is, see, I'm using standard. I want to use Lumen, because Lumen will look much nicer. So I'm going to choose update. Unfortunately, Twinmotion is this also Lumen? Right, no. Unfortunately, Twinmotion can be annoying at times, so I'm going to have to copy this to all of these frames, paste. Actually, I can just click Lumen. Can I do this? Lumen, save. Lumen, save. So I have to update all of these images to Lumen now, because I didn't remember to choose Lumen before. So this can be a little annoying. So And of course, we're using Lumen because the Lumen render engine looks nicer. You do have to have a RTX video card in order to use Lumen. Okay, let me save this. And I'm going to save this in demonstrations. Demonstration. Where are you, demonstration? There we go. Animation. Demo. Now, the rest of these things you know how to do already, because in our last scene, I showed you how to add rocks and plants and all of these things. So I'm not going to go over that. I'm just focusing on the animation. All right, so now we can go to export and let's export this animation. Now, when you're exporting animation, this is pretty much a 1 minute animation. And if I look at my settings here, you will notice that of all the settings here, my CPU, memory, I'm using a lot of my GPU. So rendering animations is totally dependent on your GPU and the type of GPU. As a matter of fact, running Twinmotion totally depends on this. So the bigger and better your GPU is, the faster this animation will take. So on average, the average video card, your animation should take about maybe 5 minutes. In my case, it's taking a minute because of the type of specs that I have. But on average, it would take about 5 minutes to do a 360 1 minute animation around your building. All right, and that is it. Any questions? Mia? Nicole? Any questions?
No, sir. More like when will this be uploaded to the site? That's the only question.
All right, yes. So so far I have 2 things to upload. So I'm going to upload the last video I did last night. Sorry, Saturday night. Because Zoom has to convert the video first, which takes a while. So I kind of just went to my bed after that long thing. So I'm going to upload both of these today. This one should finish in another hour or so. And that's it. And this is the animation. And if I look in the folder, oh, yes, I forgot. Did crash. I'm sorry. I put my tower somewhere, and I don't remember where I put it. Anyway. All right, and this is the animation that we have, which is pretty cool. And this is 1920 by 1080 exterior animation. I just realized something. In this, I didn't use the HDR. I think when I did rendering with you, I did show you how to use the HDR, but here, because usually when you're doing an animation, you wouldn't use let's go to lighting here. Let me go to this scene. Right. Usually you would not use the backdrop. You would use the sky dome. So if I look around now, I have the sky, which is really cool. The HDR backdrop is too specific. So for example, this goes on to infinity. So the great thing about this is that it lets you have a much farther horizon. Now here's the trick. I just added background here. I also want to turn off auto exposure. What auto exposure does, it brightens areas that is dark. So if I go in a bright area, it will darken the picture. And if I go in a dark area, it will brighten the picture. Kind of like how a camera works, but That might be good and bad, depending. So I like to turn it off. And I think this looks weird because I need to angle the sun. I need to enable the intensity of the background. Whoa, that's too bright. Yeah, that's good. I need to rotate it so the sun can. Oh, by the way, you can also choose when you go to choose for your skies, there are different categories. So you can choose overcast, you can choose low sun, morning and afternoon. So for example, under low sun, you could choose cloudy. And this is where you can get like a sunset kind of vibe. So let me show you this one. Let me download this picture. These might take a while to download depending on your internet speed, because these pictures are these HDR sky domes are a little big. I'll drag this here. And of course, this is going to change your entire scene to like a evening scene. There we go. So now everything is evening. So if I was going to do this, let's rotate it a little bit. I think this one puts the sun below the horizon. There's the sun there. Put it over here. I think right now this is controlling the sun. So it's saying match sun to HDRI. So you can't control the sun. The sun is based on the sky. But if I turn this off, now you can control the sun. Whoa, minus 20. Where is the sun? Let's turn this. Right, so I can put the sun over here. I can make it more, the size of the shadows bigger so that it's more sunset. Maybe the sun is too bright. There we go. It should be more dull, I think. But this is you controlling the sun. If you don't want to control the sun, then you can just let the HDR control the sun by just checking match sun to HDR. But if you want to tweak this, you know. Right. I could go to camera and make it a increase my exposure a little bit. Then I could go to white balance and make it kind of red to make it like more evening scene. And yeah, I could make the intensity a bit brighter to kind of cut down the dark shadows a little bit. And turn down the ambience. Right. And I think there you have an evening scene. And of course, you can have night scene and all of that. And here's the thing. When I change this, I'll choose update. But see, notice my scene gone back to the original and now it's evening. That's because I need to now update all of these with this scene. So I know, luckily, I don't have to go to this and then tweak all the settings and go to this and then tweak all the settings. The newer Twinmotion, you can just copy. So what I would probably do is I would go back here. I would duplicate this one. And I would call this sunset party. And I would call this one midday party. So here, I will, this first one that has it at a sunset, I will copy the daytime and paste it back here. And then I go into the sunset one. And then now, where it's sunset at the beginning, I will copy this and I will paste it here, update, paste it here. Unfortunately, there's no way to like automatically paste it in all of these. This part kind of sucks a little bit. Paste it here, update, paste it, paste it, and update. Paste, update, paste, and update. All right, so there you go. So now I have back my scene with this new lighting where it's like a sunset kind of scene. So this is how you can change the background. So you have some nice clouds and all of that going. All right. And this is rendered with the Lumion engine. You can know because you see this little triangle here. Okay, guys. So that was a full class, full demonstration. Any questions?
Yes, sir. I have a question, sir.
What is that?
You said it was rendered with the Lumion engine. I don't understand that part.
Right. So Twinmotion has multiple render engines that's built in. There has 3 render engines. There is a standard that will work on every computer. There is Lumen that will work if you have a RTX graphics card. Well, it now works on Mac. And then there is path tracing. That is the highest quality, and that's what we used to do the images. Lumen, yeah, Lumen, not Lumion. Lumen. So, let me pause this. So, for example, pause. This scene is done using Lumen. Let me go here. Okay, so this is Lumen. This is standard. Lumen. Let me make it full screen for you. Oops, no. Right. So this is Lumen standard. Now you might look at these and say, okay, Lumen seems to be darker up here, it's darker. Standard, everything seems to be brighter. Basically, Lumen is like getting to be more realistic. Standard is the most compatible. It works on every computer. Doesn't matter your computer specs, standard will always work. Lumen needs what you call DirectX 12 for it to work. Basically, you need a good graphics card. And it gives you like nicer shadows. Like if you look in the trees here, you're getting shadows where the leaves are. With standard, everything is kind of just flat. I mean, it still looks okay. However, if I go now to Path Tracer, this is where it gets really realistic. Now, I do have to change the lighting for Path Tracer, but Path Tracer, if I wanted to render an animation for Path Tracer, it would take hours because every frame has to calculate. So usually we use the Path Tracer render engine for images. So if I wanted to take an image, and we'll go real time Lumen to get the best animation. All right, so does that answer the question?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, what I will leave you with, right, is I'm going to see if I can put a little bit of this in another course, but what I want to leave you with is, where is it? Here we go. Twinmotion is a pizza slice out of what's called Unreal Engine. Anybody ever heard of Unreal Engine? Anybody here?
Yes, sir.
Right. So Unreal Engine is like the big brother of Twinmotion, right? Think of it as, I don't know, like how the Bible says that he took a rib from Adam to make Eve. So you can think of it as Twinmotion took a rib from Unreal Engine. It's like a pizza slice. So all of the features and settings that you're seeing here, that is only like a small pizza slice from what its bigger brother Unreal Engine can do. Of course, it's more complicated. So I don't know if we'll teach it in architecture school. I'm trying to see if I can touch it a little bit in fourth year. We will see. But I just want to leave you with this, that if you are into this kind of stuff, rendering and all of that, and you have pretty much mastered what Twinmotion can do, then your next step would be to go to its bigger brother, which is Unreal Engine. And this is what it looks like. This is what the user interface looks like. And Unreal Engine is an endless ocean of options and possibilities. So this is a presentation on Unreal Engine. I'll probably do this with you at another time, but I just wanted to leave that with you so you know where Twinmotion is coming from, right? And if you want to go deeper, then you have a direction in which to go. Okay, guys, that is it for class today. We are pretty much almost at the end of the module. We have one more, I guess, class activity to do. We'll do it next week. But pretty much I think I have taught you everything that you need to know to finish the module. As it relates to the assignment. So now you know how to do the checkpoint 5, which is the final checkpoint, which is animation. And you know how to do checkpoint 4. You also know how to do your studio-based project, which requires you to do interior rendering. So go forth and complete this work so that I can give you your grade and you can pass, and I'll see you again another semester, right? But next class, we'll be touching on a topic, groups in Revit, which is solely for your purpose. Like it is not, you're not required to do any more work for this module. I'm just doing groups in Revit because I know it will benefit you for your design studio. It won't be very long, I think. And some of you already know about groups in Revit, so I'm just going to be showing you how to use it efficiently when you're doing like a housing project. All right, guys. So have a good rest of the week, and I'll see you next class.
Okay, sir.
All right.
Sure,
Bye.
hold on, sure. Kirim, quick, sure, I can talk to you after.
Sure. You need a breakout room, or you want to just
I'll talk to you now. It don't really matter, sir.
Okay, hang
I just
on.
check